material that have this licensing, it means you need to give attribution. And when you tweak or remix the content, you have to use the same identical license. Okay, if you don't understand, okay, don't worry. Let me give one example. Okay, so given on the right is the original photo image. The title is My Bicycle by John. Okay, so this image is from John. And then I have take this original image, I have tweak. So this is the new what you call OER material produced from the image by John. Okay, so I have given here attribution. This work, new bicycle, is a derivative of my bicycle by John used under CC by SA. It means when John created his original bicycle image, the license was CC by SA. Okay, so my title is new bicycle is licensed under CC by NC and my name. Okay, so my question is this correct? Can I do this? Okay, the first question, John used license by SA. It means other person who want to use this content need to attribute John. Okay, in this case, I have attribute John. And then it is SA. It means share alike. It means that when I'm going to share this new image, I have to use the identical license by SA. If you notice, I use by NC. So this is wrong. I must use the derivative content must use CC by SA. I cannot have NC. Okay, so that's the meaning of share alike. You have to maintain the old license in your new content. You can't bring new constructs into your license. Okay, so I hope you understand. Okay, so how to rectify the mistake? As I mentioned earlier, you have to remove NC, you have to put SA. So now it is the derivative license is identical to the original license. So that's the meaning of SA, share alike. Okay, the third one is you need to have attribution and no derivative. In short, they call it CC by ND. Okay, so you can see the image here. Okay, so when you have CC by ND, it means that this license allows for redistribution. It can be commercial or non-commercial as long as it is passed unchanged and in whole. Okay, and you have to give credit to the original work. It means you can't tweak the content. You can't remix. You have to maintain as it is. At the same time, you have to attribute the original creator. But you can use it for in commercial or in non-commercial context. Okay, so let me give one example. Okay, so on the right is the original photo, is OER material. The title is Number Format by David. Okay, so this image, the name is Number Format by David, and I have tweaked this original content. And on the left is the new content, okay, reproduced, enhanced from the original content. Okay, let us see the what you call the license, open license adopted by David. So David has adopted CC by ND. Okay, so you have to give attribution to David, which I did here, and it mentioned ND, non-derivative. So do you think that this is correct? Anyone? Is this correct? Anyone want to share the answer or feedback? Okay, never mind. Okay, if you notice here, in the original content, it was specified as CC by ND. ND means no derivative. It means others, when they use this original content, they can't tweak the content. So in this case, I have tweaked the content. So this is wrong. So once you see ND, okay, no derivative, tagged to a particular OER, it means you have to use it as is. Okay, so how to rectify the mistake? So I can't tweak the content. I have to use it as is. And this is the correct attribution. Number format by David is licensed under CC by Andy. The one I showed to you earlier is invalid because I can't tweak the content. It must be used as is. Okay, so far, can you follow? Can I?
Yes.
Okay, so hopefully
Yes,
all can
CEMCA, you
follow.
are getting those answers in the chat. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Okay, so since I opened the slide, so I can't see the chat. Later, I will go through the chat. Okay, so okay, the fourth one, we have this attribution non-commercial. Okay, so in short, we use CC by NC, and this is the image that we can use, to indicate this type of licensing. Okay, so when you have by NC, it means this license lets you limit, tweak, and build upon the original work non-commercially. Okay, so it should be non-commercial. Your new work, okay, let's say if you have produced a new work based on this original content, must be non-commercial and acknowledge the original work. But you have the license, to do tweaking on this content because you don't see ND here. Okay, so it should be non-commercial. Okay, the fifth one, attribution, non-commercial, share alike. Okay, so this is the image you can use. Okay, so when you have this, it means this license let you to remix, tweak, and build upon the original work non-commercially, as long as you credit the original work and license your new creations under the identical terms. Because we have share alike, so the new license for your new work built upon on this original content must be identical. Okay, the last one. Okay, so this is the most this is the most restricted kind of license. Okay, so we have attribution, non-commercial, no derivative. So CC by NC and ND. Okay, so this license is the most restrictive of the 6 main licenses. It only allow you to download the original work and share it with others as long as you credit the original work. You can't change the original work in any way or use it commercially because already mentioned NC, okay? Non-commercial, you can tweak the content and you have to give credits or attribute the original creator. Okay, so this is the summary of the 6 licenses, okay, I've mentioned earlier. So let me go through one by one. Okay, so public domain, it means, it is when the content is in the public domain, it means is the copyright has been expired. Okay, so when the copyright is already expired, is in the public domain, it means you can copy and publish, you don't need to attribute, you can use commercially, you can modify and adapt, you can change the license. Okay, for open licensing, the first one, CC by, you can publish, you need to give attribution, you can use commercially, you can modify and adapt, and you have the freedom to change the license. Second one, CC by SA, okay, you have the right to copy and publish. Okay, you have to attribute, you can use commercially, you can modify and adapt, but you don't have the right to change the license because we indicated share alike. And then we have CC by ND. You have the right to copy and publish. You have to give attribution. You can use commercially, but you can't modify because it ND, no derivative, but you can change the license. CC by NC, you have the right to copy and publish. Attribution, of course, required. You cannot use commercially. You have the right to modify and adapt the content. You can change the content. CC by NCSA, you have the right to copy and publish. Attribution is required, but you can't use commercially because you can see there's NC here. But you can modify and adapt the content, and you cannot change the license, okay? Because we already mentioned SA. And finally, we have CC by C and D. Okay, in this context, you can copy and publish. Attribution is required, but you cannot use for commercial purposes. You cannot modify and adapt the content because you can see there's an ND there, but you can change the license because there is no SA here. Okay, so this is the summary for the main 6 license or combination licenses that we can create that we can create from the 4 main constructs of CC license. Okay, so we have 6. So the most least restrictive is the public domain and CC by. And as we move on to the right, it becomes very restrictive. Okay, so the most restrictive is CC by NC and ND. So if you want to make your content more open, so you should adopt the licenses indicated in the left, on the left. Okay, okay, so let me show you a video on how you can choose a license and how you can generate the license from Creative Commons website. So let me play the video now.
Prof, it is not audible.
Yes.
Dr. Nantha, it is not audible.
Okay, just hold on. Is it okay?
No, still not audible because you are not connecting. Kindly, can you increase the volume from the speakers button, not from here?
Okay, just hold on. Actually, the speaker is full flash, 100%.
No, this is a speaker of probably YouTube or the medium from which you are running this video. You need to minimize this window and increase the volume of speakers from your system, from your laptop.
Okay, just hold on, doctor. Okay, so in my laptop is 100%, is full.
Dr. Nantha, if you have this, do you have this video in your laptop?
Yes.
Okay, so you can, instead of sharing the slide, you have the option to share the video. So
Okay,
if you play the video from your laptop while sharing the video from the Zoom link, you'll be able to watch the video more clearly with the audio.
Yeah, okay. Let me share from my laptop. Just hold on. Okay, just give me a few minutes.
Yes, yes, please.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
please.
it's all right. Take your time.
Okay, thanks. Okay, let me share the video now. Okay, can you hear the audio? I mean, the audio, is it okay,
No,
doctor?
no, no. It's
Yeah.
still
Okay,
not there.
because I'm opening it from my laptop.
Okay.
Just hold on, let me check the audio.
Dr. Nantha, within Zoom, there's an option that instead of sharing the entire screen or the slides, you can share the video. So if you click that option to share the video will be, will become more clearer and the audio will become more clearer.
Share as?
Share the video instead of sharing screen or sharing slide.
Oh, okay.
Share the video. There's an option, share the video.
Okay, just hold on.
Yeah, sure. And there's one more option. When you click share the screen, you have multiple options. There's one option that needs to be
Conference,
clicked.
conference में बैठा हूँ.
Which one?
Share computer sound. You need to check
ठीक
share
है, sir.
computer sound.
Sir, let me go through this, then I will give you a call.
Okay, share screen.
Yes. And then share computer sound.
Okay, hold on.
Left bottom. Share computer sound.
Okay, I already click share screen,
Yes.
but I couldn't find that share sound, is it? Because I can see three icons there: basic, advanced, and
No.
file.
When you have that options now, share screen, whiteboard,
Yes,
icon, yes.
yes.
At the bottom left, you will see that share computer sound.
Okay, just hold on.
Yes. At the bottom.
Inside this Zoom interface.
Yes, within this.
Okay, hold on. I couldn't locate that because I can see few icons here.
Dr. Nantha, may I request one thing? You can share the link of this video with us in chat, through chat box, and let's proceed further, because I think with this we will be wasting little time on this.
Yes.
Instead of wasting little time on this, you can share the link and we can watch it later on.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so I will share the link later. Then the participants can watch after the workshop.
Exactly.
Okay. So now let me go back to my slide.
Nantha, can we do one thing?
Yes, sir.
Link can be shared among the participants in our chat box and WhatsApp group. You can give 1 minute of time to them. They can have a look that video, watch that video. Then we can continue.
I can, Doctor. I give the link in the group, in the chat area. Just hold on. Let me get the link.
Not all the participants might have the access to the WhatsApp group at the moment. So, Dr. Nantha, if you share the link in the chat box at the moment so that they can view the video.
No problem.
Thank you.
Okay, so I retrieving the link so they can view or they can download. Okay, no problem. Okay.
Thank you very much, Nantha. Thank you very much.
No problem. Okay, so I will. Okay, so I just entered the link for the video in the chat area. So try just click the link. You should be able to to watch the video. The video is in my Google Drive. I just make it open. Anyone with the link can watch the video. Try to click the link and see whether you can watch the video. If anyone try, you can just alert us whether you can.
We all are checking it. We all are checking.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it is running. Now it is working, and I have watched the video.
Okay, okay. So the participant can watch outside of this Zoom interface, and then maybe the duration is 6 minutes. So after 6 minutes, you just come back to this Zoom.
Okay.
Thanks. Yeah, I think we can spend another couple of minutes, maybe another 2 minutes. Okay, so another 2 minutes. All done?
Any participant who have watched the video, please drop the message. Okay, we have first message
Okay.
from Asim, and now people have watched the video, I guess. Yes, they have watched the video.
Okay, so I can proceed with my next slide.
Yes.
Okay, so okay, now we will do one activity. Okay, you can do it in an individual basis. Okay, assume that you have developed a video lecture for your course. You want to make this video as OER so that it can be shared with others. Okay, now the first question, think of a suitable open license that you want to tag to this video lecture, and then generate the license from this particular link. Okay, so how to generate? It was been shown in the video that you watched earlier. So okay, just now you just watched the video. Now I want you to do it hands-on. Okay, in order to create a license for the OER material that you want to tag. Okay, so just think of any open license that you want to create and use the generator in order to create the license. Okay, so I will copy and paste the link in the chat area. So let me stop the screen. Okay, so I will share the link of this here in the chat area. So just click the link. So let me also share the link into share screen. Before that, let me open the link. Okay, I already opened the link. Okay, so from Zoom, I will share the website. Okay, so can you view the website on the screen?
Yes, we can view.
Okay. Okay, so I have given the link in the chat area. So I want all the participants to click the link so that you have your own dedicated page on your laptop, and just play around with these options given here. Just think of the kind of license that you want to create. Okay, so if you just scroll down a bit on this side, you will see on your left the license features. There are a few questions here. Allow adaptations for your work to be shared. Just click your option and then allow commercial uses of your work. Okay, so you can just click the options that you want and see the kind of output that you get on the right. Okay, so just play around with this with this tool. Okay, so if you click the different radio buttons here, you get a different kind of the image display on the right. At the same time, the particular icon for the image will appear here. Okay, I also want you to play around with this attribution box. Okay, so just imagine content and give a title for the content and how others going to attribute your work. Okay, so certain things you have to fill up here so that when you generate the license, the attribution will be there. You can, I can give you 10 minutes, to play around with this page. Okay, so when it comes for the attribution, there are certain fields that you have to fill up. If you if you doesn't know the meaning of these particular fields, you just click the question mark that been given for the particular field. Just click the question mark, and you will get the explanation for that particular field.
Dr. Nantha, I have one question here.
Yeah, doctor.
When we are using this license of Creative Commons, then we can only make this license for any material which is available to the public, or we are using it as an open educational resource.
Yes.
But if I have to take something and create a license for my write-up, my article, or my text only, can we do it?
Yeah, you can indicate that in your in the you have that credit page.
No,
means
I want to write an article for a journal.
Okay.
And I want to take something from, can I get a license from Creative Commons that this article of mine is a licensed article? If I'm going to publish it in a impact factor journal or something?
Okay, if journal, because journal, they may have their own copyright issues. Copyright rules.
Yes.
Okay, so we have to. Okay, so it means doctor want to create your own article, and you want to put this open license in your what you call in your article, and then you want to send it to that journal.
Yes.
Okay,
because,
in this case,
because you already know that there are many open access journals even which publish articles. But if I want my article to be a licensed one, can I do it?
Okay, if it's open journal, open access journal, I think shouldn't be a problem. But if it's journal that that they don't have this so-called open access, and they have their own copyright, rules that we need to follow, then we have to check with that particular journal.
Okay.
But if it is open access journal where they value this open license, I think shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. So the basic question still remains: can I make my article, my specific article, which I have produced, a licensed article?
Yeah, I think if you are publishing your research article, you can make it as an open license. But again, if you are publishing it in a journal which is open access, then it is automatically an open article, open education resource. But if the journal policy is that the whole journal is a copyright, then one has to check with the editors or the journal whether you can have your article as a open education resource. And I think that depends upon the policy of the journal.
Yes, true, doctor. We have to check with the publisher of the journal.
Yeah, you can publish it as an open resource with the open license, whatever it is, like CC BY or CC BY SA. But again, it will depend upon the journal, what they want, the policy of the journal.
Okay, thank you. That answers my question. Thank you, Dr. Madhu.
Okay, so those for those participants who have their own blog or website, what you can do, you always can copy paste this HTML code. And then try to observe the output. Okay, so this is the one, HTML code. You can just copy and you can paste in your blog. Then you can see the kind of the content produced by having this HTML code. If you notice, there is an indicator, this is a free culture license. If you take the most restrictive kind of license, for example, I said, okay, so if you take a very restrictive kind of combination, you get a message, this is not a free culture license. Okay, it's just an, an alert. It's up to us, whether they want to use it or not. Okay, I can give another 2 more minutes before we proceed with my slide.
So, Dr. Nantha, we have first message from the participant that activity is done now.
Okay. Okay, so actually the main objective of the activity is just to to let you explore the open license generator provided by Creative Commons. So in the future, when you're doing your own OER resource or materials, you always can go to this particular site and generate the license, get HTML code, and put it in your website. If it's going to be hosted in your university website, you always can share the codes with your programmer, or perhaps your programmer already well versed in this generator. Maybe they already accessed this before. Okay, so I think I can proceed with my next slide. Okay, just give 1 more minute for others to settle down. Okay. Okay, so let me proceed. Okay, when we're using OER, okay, there are 3 ways that you can make use of this particular OER. Let's say you manage to get OER from other resources and you want to use it in your teaching and learning. So you can use it reuse. It means you're not going to change anything, just use as it is. Perhaps because it has this ND license tag to this OER, so you can't tweak or change the content. So you have to reuse as it is. But if there is no ND, non-derivative license being tagged to that particular OER, so you have the options to revise or to remix. Okay, so when I say reuse, it means you can use it in a wide range of ways depending on your instructional approach or instruction strategy. Revise means you have the freedom to adapt, modify, and improve the content, or you can remix, means you can combine with other materials. When I say other materials, it could be another OER materials, or it could be your own materials. Okay, so no issue. Okay, you can remix with any contents. Okay, so shown on the screen is how an example how we have changed the content. Okay, so on the right we have this original photo, and on the left you have the modified photo or image. And as usual, you have to give attribution, and this example that I have shared with you. Okay, so I'm showing you the same example because here we have used our own creativity in order to change or to modify the content. But always remember that when you want to revise or tweak the content, you also can bring another OER into this content. Okay, so on the right is a OER content, and when you want to tweak this content, you always can bring another OER content into the picture. But you have to be careful when you are doing this remixing, especially when you're going to combine OER with another OER, because not all combinations of rights as stipulated by an open license allow any or all of this OER to be mixed. Only certain combination allow remix. For example, any license with share alike as a reserved right excludes mixing with other licenses that are not identical. Okay, no derivative, you can't do any remixing. That's pretty much very straightforward. Okay, so this chart is very important. Okay, so when you want to remix using 2 or more than 1 OER materials, this chart is very important. Okay, let me give one example. Here you have by and SA. It means you have to give the attribution and you need to share alike. Okay, so this is one OER, and then you have another OER where the attribution is, okay, let's say I take this one. Okay, so it CC, by, and SA. So when you have 2 OERs having same license, then you can remix them. Okay, let me give another example. Okay, let's say you have this OER, one OER having this by and SA. It means you have to attribute and share alike. Then another one is by NC, non-commercial. So you can't mix both. Okay, you can't mix by SA and another material having by NC. Okay, so if you mix, it means you are violate the copyrights, given in this particular open licensing mechanism. Okay, let me give another example. Okay, let's say you have this OER material, you have by and ND, means you have attribute, and ND, it means you can't tweak the content. And then you have another materials taken from public domain. Okay, when I say public domain, it means the copyright has expired and you are free, you are free to take the content. But when you're going to mix it with OER material having ND, non-derivative, then you can't do that because this OER material already said no derivative. You can't tweak, okay? Okay, let me give another example. Okay, just one interesting point to note that you can notice here. Once the material or OER is ND, once it has ND, so it's all cross, means you can't take another OER material, mix it with this particular OER, okay, once it has this ND. Okay, so the one you can mix is by and another by. Okay, so you have two learning materials, both having by, no problem. If it's by and SA, so one is by, another one is SA. So if you see the location, the cell here, you're allowed, to do the remixing. So this chart very important. It will be good, if you're into this OER. It's good if you can print this chart and just put it on your desk. Okay, so that it's easier for you to refer. Okay, so going back to the revised image, okay, so this is a revised image that I shared with you earlier. Okay, so if you notice, there are two licenses, okay, so this is the original license, CC BY, and when you do the enhancement, you have to specify your own license, and this we will call it adapters license. And here, coincidentally, the adapters license and the original license are the same, but it is not a must. You can have your own adapter license, but you have to follow certain rules that I will share in a short while. Okay, so this original license and adapter license is very important. Okay, when you attribute a work that you have done a remixing or you have done some enhancement, you have to specify your own license. Okay, which we call it adapters license. But when you want to choose adapters license, you can't simply, simply out of nowhere create a license for this enhanced OER. You have to be careful, and you have to, make sure when the status of the original work, okay, let's say if the status of original work means you're going to take a OER having a by, NC, and SA. Okay, you want to do some enhancement, and then after you have done the enhancement, you need to give the adapters license. So when you want to give adapters license, the only adapter license that you can give for this new enhanced OER is by NC SA. You can give by NC, by NC ND, by ND, by SA, or even you can make it as a public domain. Okay, so when you want to create adapter license for the work that you have improved based on the original content, you have to be careful when you want to give this adapters license. So you have to have this chart, you have to print this and make sure you select the correct adapters license. Okay, another example, if you notice here, once the OER that you're going to take, having this by ND, it means you can't have, remixing or revised version of that particular content. If you see here, the box all in dark gray. So the cells or the box in the dark gray, it means you can't have that license. Okay, the one in green, you can have it. Okay, for example, if you have the original material is by and you have do some enhancement and your new adapter license, you can choose. You have more options: by NC, by NC ND, by NC SA, or by ND, or by SA. So these are the adapters license that you can choose. for your enhancement, okay? If the original OER is by. Okay, so the one in yellow cell, you are not encouraged to use that particular license, okay? But if you do so, you have to take additional care, okay, to mark the adaptations as involving multiple copyrights under different terms, so that the downstream user, okay, are aware of their obligation and they can comply with these licenses from all the rights holders, okay? So always stick to the one given in the green. So this is basically for contents that you want to improve, because you may want to use new adapter license. Okay, you can proceed, but make sure you choose from the boxes that with green color. Okay, to make it safe, you can just use the license used by the original creator. But sometimes, because since this is OER and you have created a new content out of this original content, we may tempted, to generate a new license, and you can do so provided you follow the rules given here. So this is another chart. Okay, so the first chart earlier shows whether the two OER can be mixed or not, and here this table shows the kind of adapter license that you can choose when you do some enhancement to the original content. Okay, sometimes you want, when you take two OER and you mix it, and assuming that two license allows you to do the remixing, and you have to give attribution for that two creators, okay, for this particular two OERs. Okay, so you have to attribute the creators of the two OER. Okay, let's say if you're going to remix 3 OER, and it means that you have to give credits or attribution to that particular 3 creators, and you have to use the same rules. You have to specify the title, author, source, license, and so on. Okay, so let us now do a quiz 1. Okay, so I will share the link for quiz 1 in the chat area. Okay, so I just shared the link for the quiz 1 for our workshop today. You can just click the link in order to attend the quiz, and you have 4 minutes in order to to complete the quiz.
Yeah, it's working. It's working.
Okay, thanks.
Dr. Nanda, I would like to ask one question: that is there any other source who are providing licenses to OER, or they are the only one who provides the license?
Okay, there are few providing open license for educational content, but the most widely adopted is Creative Commons.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, some of you already completed the quiz. Thank you.
Yes, we are getting messages from the participants, and I think they're done with the activity. Yes, that's true.
Yeah, I think I can wait for another 1 more minute before I proceed. Okay, so let me open my slide. Okay, so you should be able to view my slide now. Okay, I believe all the participants have completed the quiz. There's only one quiz for today. Okay, so on the next slide, I have prepared a few questions. Initially, I prepared 6 questions, and question number 7 is based on questions asked by Dr. Manas. So I have put it here as question number 7. Okay, so question 1. Why should I use the latest version of Creative Commons licenses? For information, the current version is version 4. Okay, so the question asking why should I use the latest version of the Creative Commons license? Question number 2, what happens if I offer my material under Creative Commons license and someone misuses them? Question number 3, do I always have to attribute the creator of the licensed material? Question number 4, do I need to aware of anything else when providing an attribution? Question number 5, can I take a CC license work and use it in a different format? For example, the OER is in online version. Can you make it in the printed form? Okay, so that's the meaning of question number 5. Question number 6, what happens if the author decides to revoke the CC license to material that I am using? Okay, for example, you're using a CC license material. What happens if the author decided to revoke the license? And question number 7, this is Dr. Manas asked a while ago, can I make my article to be published in a mainstream journal as an OER? Okay, so these are the 7 questions. Okay, so I will, you can discuss with your colleagues. Now the time is okay, I think Lahore time is 11:25. So we can take 20 minutes, in order to attempt all these questions. I think it will be good if the participants can brainstorm or discuss in a small group. If you can't do that, never mind. You can just do it on your own. You can share your answers in the chat area. Later, I will share my answer. Okay, so.
Or Dr. Manas, can we have this opportunity, Dr. Madhu, that if any of the participants would like to share their comments, well, unmute their mics so that we can have a discussion verbally?
Can, no problem. Means we can discuss one by one, this question. So the participants can unmute. And the first question.
Okay, so participants, you have the right. You can unmute your mic and you can ask the question directly, or you can contribute, in the discussion regarding any 7 questions. And we appreciate if there's some discussions on the panel.
Okay, there are a few questions here, or if the participants have other questions to ask, they are most welcome to ask questions.
Okay. Excuse me. Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
My name is Ahmad. I just want to ask one question. If I have my article published in a journal, can I put it also on other blogs like research-based blogs like ResearchGate and LinkedIn and so on? Or I mean, can I paste the link, or I can put the whole copy of the article, or there are certain restrictions for this?
Okay. Normally for cases like these, we have to go back to that journal and we have to check the policy of the particular journal. Okay. For example, if you publish in journal, let's say Journal of Computing. Okay. So you have to go back to that particular journal and where you have to check their policy, whether they allow you to, publish the whole article in your blog or in other website. Most of the time, if it is what you call is a closed journal, they don't allow that. The most we can do, just give the article that been published in that particular journal. We just get the link and just share the link. Means when anyone click the link, so they will be directed to that particular journal. But if it's open access, I think shouldn't be a problem because normally they have this open license.
Yes, of course. I'm asking not about the open access, about the closed journal, as you said.
So if it's a closed journal, then you have to check the policy of the journal. Most of the time, they don't allow you to do that. In fact, I did publish in few journals, and I don't share my articles in a public space because
And what
the
if a
journals.
student asks me through email, sir, please, we don't have the access. Can you provide me this manuscript, the copy of your manuscript, whatever? Especially people of students from
Privately
third world.
Privately, I think we can do that, but we have to tell the student just for your private use, please don't publish or share with others. Privately, I think no problem.
Okay.
In fact, I do share my journal articles with my students. I tell them, please don't put in your blog or in any other platforms.
Okay.
Privately can, doctor. I think it shouldn't be a problem. So that's the reason why nowadays people publish in open access journals. But the problem is that nowadays, we have this issue of high impact factor, these ISI journals. For example, in my university, the promotions are based on, journals that you publish in ISI journals. Not only in my university, in most of universities in my country, Malaysia, you have to publish in Scopus or in ISI journals. So when it comes to promotion, they have higher weights, for that particular publication. If you publish in open access, they give less points, for that particular journal. So that's a problem now that we are facing,
Yeah.
I think it is an international dilemma.
Yes,
Okay.
true.
Okay. We have one question from Omama, and she's asking that we have discussed how we can use and reattribute the work, but can we use the reattributed work and modify again if license allow? If yes, how can we attribute that work?
Okay, I think this is basically more on the attribution. Attribution, we have certain format we need to follow. You need to, as I showed in the slide earlier, you have to specify the name of the original author, their name and the work, and also the type of license they have. So as long as we attribute, their work, we are in a safe side. But make sure the original OER allows remix. If they put ND, non-derivative, then we shouldn't do any enhancement or revision to that particular OER. Let's say if you're going to, when you take an OER, and let's say the OER been attributed by 3%, and you're going to use it. So even you are going to use as it is, you have to attribute the name of that three persons in your site. Okay, so I hope I answered the question.
Yes, please. Anybody else?
Any other question? Okay, if there's any question, just feel free to ask. Just unmute and you can just ask question.
Okay. Ishrat Aziz, could you please answer the second question? I think second question means what happens if I offer my material under Creative Commons license and someone misuses the material?
Hello.
I guess, Ahmad, your mic is on. Ahmad, can you hear us? Your mic is on. Okay, in the meanwhile, Dr. Nanda, the same question from my side, because we are also creating our own content and it's a copyrighted content. And the main thing is usually when the content is available on the different websites, it may get misused. So first of all, before talking about the remedy, that what we'll do if somebody misuse my material, I just want to know that how we categorize music. For example, if I say, if I'm using the content for the commercial purposes and I'm getting revenue out of it, or I'm using it for the commercial purposes, but I'm not getting revenue out of it, something like this. So how we basically define the illegal use of the content.
Okay, illegal. This is not OER contents, right?
Including OER, like if it is OER content or any other content. If it
okay,
is
Normally, if if it's OER content, if someone is misusing it, okay, for example, we said it should be non-commercial, or non-derivative, but someone is changing it, tweaking the content, and we can directly contact the person and ask him to remove the particular OER from his or her site. And normally this will be done by a legal office. In fact, when we have this open licensing tagged to that particular OER, it means it is legally enforceable. You can enforce that legality of that, that condition. The same goes for non-OER material, is copyrighted. If someone is misusing it, then we have to approach the person. Normally, we will ask them, same like in the context of OER, we have to ask him to remove the content. Normally, we will give them 2 weeks, few days, for them to, remove the content. If they don't do so, the content is still there, then we can take a legal action. But for OER, when someone is misusing our content, they are given 30 days. 30 days to rectify their mistake. So you basically have to work closely with the legal office. But I went to your website yesterday on this OCW, Open Courseware. Basically, all these are tagged with open license. Am I right?
Dr. Nantha, can you please repeat your question? Because I was basically opening up the website of OCW of Virtual University of Pakistan.
Okay. So because I went to your OCW website, and I think it is not copyrighted. I think it is under open licensing. Because I saw there's a link given to Creative Commons site, and I think it's NC and SA, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, I'll check from the office, because as far as we all know that, yes, okay. If there are two different options. One, the video content is available on the YouTube. When it is available on the YouTube, it is on the Virtual University channel.
लेकिन मैंने एनालिसिस तो लगाया है ना, हाइपोथेसिस में लिखा है
Dear
एडिशनल क्यों नहीं
participant,
बनाना,
if you please
लेकिन एडिशनल
mute your
एनालिसिस को
mic if
एक्सप्लेन तो
you
करना
have
है ना.
intentions to talk. Ms. Amna?
Yeah, Amna is saying something.
Yeah.
Ms. Amna Haider, can we have your question, please?
Amna Haider, you want to ask something?
I guess Ms. Amna has no question, or if Dr. Manis can mute Amna Haider's mic, because I do not have this option. Manis, can you mute the mic, please? Because we are getting the noise, basically.
Yeah, there's a disturbance. Yeah.
Yes, there's a disturbance. We are getting the noise. So if you can please mute the mic, because I do not have this option. Okay, I think Dr. Manis has done his job.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we have our own YouTube channel and we have our own television channel. The content that we are creating, video content that we are creating at the moment, Virtual University of Pakistan has the copyright issue. If you can see along with CC, it's the copyright 2011 Virtual University of Pakistan. It's regarding the website, but as far as the content is concerned, it is available on the YouTube, but so far as I know, if anybody wants to use the same content for their classroom, usually the copyright rests with Virtual University of Pakistan.
Okay, it means it's copyrighted to
people are using our content. People are using our content in their classes, but whenever they display the video, Virtual University of Pakistan have the copyright.
Okay.
So far.
Yeah, so Noreen, I think some of the videos, maybe tomorrow, I think Dr. Nantha is going to explain us how to identify the OER material on the websites. So if you see any, whether it's a research paper or whether if it's a video, if you search on the Google, you will see at the bottom those license symbols. So
yes,
even YouTube, like if you see CEMCA's or Commonwealth of Learning YouTube, all of us, we have written there that it is under the license, that CC BY license, SA license. So I think if it is yours is, yes, it is copyrighted. People are watching that. But if they have to reuse it, remix it with something else, then of course, no. Manas, you want to add something?
Yeah, as you said rightly, this is the, see, when we are talking about the open education resources, rightly given it good charts. That chart you have probably seen. That is that chart is also available in the Creative Commons site, and that chart is allows you. Sorry. And now it is clear.
Dr. Manis, because I guess you're not using any kind of, hand-free or something like this, your voice is not clear.
Yeah, now it is okay.
Your voice is not clear.
Now it is okay.
Pretty fine. Okay.
Yeah. This is okay, right? Okay. Just I wanted to add with Dr. Natha and Prof. Madhu. See, why? Because I have seen some questions also here in the chat box, and what I'm thinking, when the word you are picking up open educational resources, First of all, three words we are discussing here: open education and resources. Right? So open it is allows you to access. Just reach to the content means you can just watch the content, you can download, and that you can use in very close group, maybe in your classroom of 30, 40 people, maybe. Just sharing of that as it is. The license may be probably CC BY ending, right? But the moment you are moving to the other licenses, we need to understand these license priorities and what these licenses are allows as user. Here, user's role is to refer, to create, to develop, or to share, and create, develop after that share. So all these things when you are doing, or one of the things you are doing, that moment you need to consider the license priorities and license guidelines which is allowing you. Very simple example, when you are finding out CCBY essay and one material you identify CCBY. So you want to use these two materials and produce your own content with special reference or special context. At that moment, when you are mixing two contents along with your own ideas, and it means you are bringing out a new content, new material, new educational resource. You want to share or use further. It means you need to understand first what CCBY priority and what CCBY essay priority. On the basis of that, now you need to choose your own license. That license will be, if I am not correct, and Anantha maybe help me, you need to go for the CCBY essay rather than the CCBY, because it gives you the opportunity, CCBY essay, that whatever the content you need to commit it to your content to further share alike. You need to share further. You cannot archive with you the materials with any other lower licenses, maybe CCBY NCSA or CCBY other. So you need to go for that kind of things, number one. Number two, one more addition just. Number two, all OER materials can be copyrighted or copyleft as well. So all materials are copyright or copyleft. This is nothing to do with the copyright. Why we are using them to OER? Everything has been taught by Dr. Nantha, but one thing is we need to understand first that we are using OER with certain licenses, Creative Commons license, or public domain materials, or CC0 materials, which is called as public domain by Creative Commons. So in that case, we copyrighted materials, we are understanding that copyrights itself had discipline of law. So to understand copyright discipline completely, for a teacher, for a user, for a student, that you need longer period of time and maintain and reduce plagiarism and go ethically to the intellectual properties. So to minimize all these things, we are using open educational resources, and these open educational resources, very simple understanding, Creative Commons licenses has been provided, which we are understanding. Within that mandate, we are revising, remixing, redistributing, and we are enjoying the facility of 5R, which is Dr. Nantha already shared with us. So this is the only addition from my side. Thank you very much.
Yeah, true, doctor. When we say the OER, open license, some kind of copyright is already there. Okay, it's there, but we allowing others to enhance it. At the same time, we do protect our own content. So what Dr. Mana said is 100% correct. Another thing I just want to share, sometimes we take YouTube videos. There are plenty of YouTube videos out there, not we are proprietary videos. Sometimes we put in our LMS, we embed in LMS. I think that one no harm. Just embedding the proprietary videos from YouTube into our LMS, I think there is no harm. But once you download the video, put in your server, and then publish in LMS, that's wrong. Even though we are not going to do any amendments in that video. Okay, once you download the proprietary video into a server, it means there is a kind of distribution took place. Okay, so that's wrong. But if embed directly from YouTube, it's okay. No issue, because sometimes people confuse. They say, "Oh, this YouTube video is proprietary video. I shouldn't use in my LMS." Actually, you can use, unless the university has a policy that embedding of video from YouTube is not allowed. Then it's a different case.
Yes, Dr. Nanta, that is a very important concern regarding LMS Virtual University of Pakistan as well. We usually do not share the downloaded videos in our LMS. So if students are asking, and if there is any video from any other university or any link available on the YouTube, we provide the link to the student. They can go by themselves, they can watch the video, but we cannot download the video for them and make it available in the LMS.
Yeah, we have to safeguard ourselves, because nowadays the technology is there. Once the students are sharing with others and it will end up with the creator of the video, then they might send us a legal notice. So we have to be careful with this copyright. And with this enhancement of technology, this internet, social media, we have to be extra careful.
As far as the video content created by Virtual University of Pakistan, so far we have seen this thing that the request that we have received from different institutions and sometimes different teachers, they are just reusing it. They are not remixing it. They are not, adding any other things into it. They are just using the video in their classrooms as it is. So that's why we says that whatsoever they are using it, if they create their own, login on the OCW website, they can watch the videos. They can watch the videos on the YouTube as well, and they can show the videos. But as far as the remixing, so far I have not seen any remixing for the Virtual University of Pakistan's videos.
Yeah, if just in case anyone is misusing your content, then you have to get the legal office, to approach that person.
Yes. Any other question, please? Okay, Dr. Munawar Mirza is here, and she says that today's talk or the discussion is very useful for the participants. So we welcome Dr. Munawar Sultana.
Thanks for the feedback. Actually, if you go to Creative Commons website, there are plenty of resources and information that we can learn from them. Because when we say OER is so much out there, not only the materials, but also the information, how to use it, the do's and don'ts of OER. So I think the participants should go to Common Creative website, to explore more. Okay, so perhaps I can go back to my slide.
Yes, we are not getting any questions.
Okay, so let me go through one by one. Okay, so the first question, why should I use the latest version of Creative Commons license? They have version 1, version 2, 3, and 4. The latest is version 4. Just hold on. Okay, so you should always use the latest version of the license in order to take advantage of the improvements made as compared to the previous license. And in particular, version 4 is meant to be, for international use. So always use version 4. But if you're, let's say you have OER material under license 1 or 2, you always can consider to update it into 4. Okay, what happens if I offer my material under CC license and someone misuse them? Okay, so CC license terminates automatically when the conditions are violated. So if someone misuse that, it means they don't have the right to use it anymore. For example, if a reuser of CC licensed material does not provide the attribution required when sharing the work, then the user no longer has the right to continue using the material and may be liable for copyright infringement. The license is terminated for the user who violated the license, but for other users, they still have that valid license. So those who go against the license, only they will have, they have to face the consequences. But however, under the 4 license, license version 4, a licensee automatically gets this right back if she fixed the violation within 30 days of discovering it. So it means those who violate the what you call the privilege given, they still have space. They have to rectify their wrongdoing within 30 days. This is under license 4. But if you see previous license 3, 2, and 1, there's no such clause of 30 days. Immediately terminated, and the reuser don't have any chance, to reuse the content. But now they're giving 30 days space, for the reuser to rectify the mistake. Third question, do I always have to attribute the creator of the licensed material? Yes, you have to attribute, because once they have put CC BY, you have to attribute. Okay, do I need to be aware of anything else when providing attribution? Okay, yes, you need to be careful not to, you need to be careful not to imply any sponsorship, endorsement, or connection to the licensor or attribution party without their permission. Okay, so you have to attribute, but you have to be careful on certain information. You shouldn't give too much of information. Just follow the format that I indicate earlier. Okay, can I take CC license work and use in a different format? Okay, this is a very good question. Yes, okay. When any of the 6 licenses is applied to material, the licensees are granted permission to use the material as the license allows, whatever the media or format chosen by the user when it is used or distributed further. This is true even in non-derivative licenses. For example, let's say you have OER in the online format. You can print it, okay, and use it as hard copies, even though it is ND, no derivative. Okay, so we have to be very, very clear on this. Okay, what happens if the author decides to revoke the CC license to the material that you are using? Okay, for example, you have taken OER from somewhere and you have used it, and suddenly the author decides to revoke the CC license. Okay, always be mindful that the CC licenses cannot be revoked by the author. Okay, this means that once you have received a material under a CC license, you will have you will always have the right to use it under those license terms, even if the licensor changes his mind later and stops distributing under CC license. Okay, for example, you managed to get an OER from somewhere, and after 2 months, the author decided to make it copyright. Okay, to make it copyright material, no more under CC. But for your case, you still can use it because once it's given, it's given. Okay, you can't be revoked. Okay, so that's the 6 questions. These are the common questions normally participants will ask in any OER workshop. Question number 7, basically the question asked by Dr. Manas earlier. Can I make my article to be published in a mainstream journal as an OER? Basically, the answer is we have to refer to the policy of that particular journal. But if the journal is comes under open access journal, I think no harm for us to publish the paper as an OER journal. Okay, so these are the 6 or 7 questions that participants normally ask in the workshop. And there are plenty of FAQs in Creative Commons website. Later in the WhatsApp, I will share the links for this FAQ website from Creative Commons. Okay, so let me go back to Zoom. Okay, so with that, I have come to the end for my workshop today, for the second day. Perhaps I can pass it to Noreen.
Or to Dr. Madhu.
Yes, or Dr. Madhu.
Yes, if you like to add something, please.
Yeah, I just want to add something. Yeah, these Creative Commons licenses, how to use them, which license to use. Yes, we need to be very thorough with it firstly, because to mix, remix, and then based on whether it's a research article, whether it's a video, whether it is a book, and so on and so forth. So one has to be very careful. Now, coming to what we do, like in open and distance education, suppose we are creating a learning material, which I think the virtual university Pakistan is also doing it, putting the textual material in their LMS. So some of the OER material, which is like CCBY, one can simply take it. But if one has to remix it or reuse it, it is okay. But remix it with something else, then you have to write down the license and the whole thing there. So which I think Nantha is going to take us tomorrow, that how to do that part. Just lastly, again, I'll say, yes, it is not an easy thing to do it, for me at least, but maybe all of you can do it. It takes time to understand and then which license to use when. So I'm sure you all can do that by going to the Creative Commons licenses. Now, second part, which I just want to emphasize is, many countries, many institutions, they have framed their own OER policy. Like when the UNESCO document came on OER, so they said that have a policy. So suppose a country frames an OER policy that all their material will be on OER. I don't know how people they'll accept, or institutions they will accept. So what, and several times many institutions like Virtual University of Pakistan thinks that they can frame their OER policy, their institutional policy, that all their material will be under OER. That's a different thing. And then you have to be writing it down on your website that all the material is an OER material, and so on and so forth. So it all depends what the institution take that. Very important in my opinion is, when open education resources, everything is available on the net. But when I have to use that in my own work, in my own video, then we have to use those creative licenses. And that too, I don't have to make it commercial. With these words, I thank Nantha and I look forward to tomorrow's and last day's
Dr. Madhu?
Yeah.
Can I add just few one based on your points? It's true, when we create our own OER, for example, you Pakistan create your own OER, the combination of license that you want to put, there is no scientific way of doing it. It depends on the university policy, so we have to be mindful of that. But when we are remixing the videos, we have to give the adapters license. That one we have to make sure the adapter license we are going to give won't conflict with the earlier one given by the creator of that OER.
Right.
Thanks, Doctor.
Right. So again, I will repeat and then end it up, that we need to really understand all the 6 licenses. But of course, the first 3, which are the mostly used, the last one are the restricted ones. So with these words, any questions if you have, or you can ask on the WhatsApp from Nantha. And Noreen, should we close now? Any questions?
Okay, participants, any questions from Dr. Nantha or Dr. Madhu or Dr. Manas? or as Dr. Madhu said, that you may drop your questions to the WhatsApp group, and Dr. Nanta can answer that question. Anyways, Dr. Nanta, as I said yesterday, that we were looking for this kind of session because our faculty is basically developing the content, whether it is textual or the video. But today, I think that including myself, we all get sensitized by the different types of the license. And I think being a faculty at Virtual University of Pakistan, because we are creating content, we all must know all different type of the licenses, and it can make our life more easier because we are using the open educational resources. So I think it thankfully sensitized the faculty who participated in it, and we are looking forward for the tomorrow's session.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think almost 47 plus are participating in this workshop. That's a good number. With all your workload in the university, still all of you who are there, it's really remarkable. So I thank each one of you, and we look forward to tomorrow's Nanta's last session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Signing out from Virtual University. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.